Hello, family, friends, pescatarians, vegetarians, everyone. Welcome to Critic and the Common Man, where we talk about all things film, entertainment, television. And today we are talking about The Boys.
What's going on, everybody? Pew! Dude, we gotta start making some sort of sweet special effect, like right on the tip of my finger every time I do that.
A woman moaning.
What's
up,
on,
everybody?
Nice. Make it like really dull, like a clearly fake
Yep.
moan. Perfect.
Yep.
What's going on, everybody? Critic and the Common Man here with another review today. The highly anticipated, very exciting, very dark, The Boys Season 2 dropped a couple weeks ago on Amazon Prime. Chris and I binged it as fast as we could, and now here we are. Dude,
I watched it so fast that I actually watched 8 hours in 3.
wow, that's his
Explain
superpower.
Yeah.
They loaded him up with Compound V, and now he's able to binge. They call him the binge, and he's able to
binge.
basically
That
watch.
sounds like some terrible eating problem. The binge.
They call him the binge. You're like 700 pounds. Just, his caloric intake is through the roof. What a shitty superpower.
Yeah.
Oh my god. First thing right out of the gate with The Boys Season 2. Actually, let me just say this as well. If you didn't know already, Critic and the Common Man, all of our reviews contain spoilers. So this will be a full review, spoilers included. If you haven't seen The Boys Season 2, click off of this, go watch it. You won't be disappointed. Come back and then watch this with us. Let us know what you think. But one thing that I really appreciated from the get-go, first thing I noticed with The Boys Season 2, they picked up right where Season 1 left off.
Yeah.
I feel like with a lot of shows, there'll be a really good season. You're really excited. The first one that comes to mind is like an Altered Carbon or something. Mm-hmm. And it seems like, you end the season on a big cliffhanger. You're really excited for Season 2. And then Season 2 finally starts, and it feels like a completely different show. The people somehow feel different. The story doesn't really feel the same. To me, this felt like they literally picked up right where they left off.
And not just that, but like the pacing is so much better than the first. Like the problem with the first season is that you weren't sure. Like there were episodes that were just really slow, and the pacing in Season 2 is a lot faster. It's just better. It's more well done, like a nice steak.
Yeah, I felt like Season 2, and we're just kind of making our general observations here, and then we'll go into some specifics. But I felt like Season 2 was more about character development, and I feel like Season 1 was a little bit more about, I don't know, it was a little bit more about like the corruption of Vought, whereas I felt like this one was more so about, there was more dialogue, you really got to know the characters a little better, the relationships kind of were built or destroyed between each other. But again, not super different, I didn't think, from Season 1. I felt like it did a pretty good job of feeling like the same show from season to season.
Yeah, I agree. And the characters, you're right, the characters feel more fleshed out. Overall, the season, I think, is just better. I think they took everything that people liked about Season 1 and they did more, and they made this season better. And I think if they continue on this path, Season 3 is going to be freaking amazing.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. And this is kind of this is Amazon's golden egg, right? Or golden goose, whatever the saying is right now. I mean, this, The Boys is a huge show right now. Everybody's watching it. Why do you think The Boys is as popular as it is? I have some theories, but what do you think makes it so made it so huge?
I think that it kind of goes to like it's counterculture. Right now everything's about Avengers, and Disney is doing a lot with the superhero franchise and the Star Wars franchise and all of that. And I think The Boys isn't subtly calling them out on that. It's doing like. Right. There are scenes in this season where they're straight up doing like things out of the Avengers, and they're rehearsing movies and stuff on this set, and they're totally calling them out, and they're doing it in a way that it's almost like flipping the script on what Disney is doing, where the heroes are fucking assholes. That like Captain America, which is basically Homelander and Superman, or Captain America and Superman are basically combined in Homelander is what I meant to say. Processing that. Homelander is like America's like number one like sweetheart, role model for everybody in the country, and he's the biggest asshole. And it's, I don't know, I think it's just interesting. It's people want to see that counterculture. They want to see that the difference. They want to see the other side of what, you know, like we've got the superheroes that are like ideal in Avengers, you know, for the most part. Obviously Avengers has their own thing and their own,
right,
you know,
right.
characters that are going through their own stuff. But this is literally the opposite. It's the polar opposite of that.
Well, and it's kind of like, I don't know who you could say did it first. Would you say that Wolverine maybe was the first kind of edgy, almost anti-hero? Or, I mean, it's either him or probably Deadpool, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who kind of did it before them. This sort of taking that generic model of the superhero is the perfect person,
Like
and
the
they're super
anti-hero,
great.
the-
Yeah, the anti-hero kind of thing. Deadpool definitely did it, and Deadpool was a huge success.
Wolverine did it with like as in asshole.
Yeah,
But
he was kind of an
Deadpool-
asshole, but he was still a hero.
Yeah, Deadpool is the one who was kind of like a not hero. Like Wolverine is still an X-Men. He's still a
Right.
good guy. Where Deadpool is kind of in it for himself.
True. And they took that concept with the boys and ran with it, dude.
Well-
I mean, this is basically this. It's similar in that it's okay. We're gonna take what everybody loves right now. What's huge right now in the market? Superheroes. Okay, what's some of the bigger things that have done really well? Well, the Avengers movies have done great, but there's definitely a market out there for a darker movie. Look at Deadpool. Look at what they're doing. Let's take that and run with it. And then they sort of took this whole superhero concept, brought it down to earth, threw in some corruption, threw in some just sick shit, and just tried to make it as visceral and as real as possible, and included all of the darkness that comes with that.
Yeah, and in the sense that the heroes of this show are not the superheroes.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Starlight, you could say, is kind of in there, but for the most part, it's the boys. It's
Yeah.
Frenchie, Huey, Mother's
That
Milk, and
Beautiful
Butcher.
French man. That guy is like I have a man crush on him.
You know what I felt like? You know what I felt like season 2 did a great job of? I would say better than season 1. Not that season 1 didn't do a good job of this, but one thing that really kept me along in season 2 is season 2 to me, and let us know in the comments down below what you think, because maybe some of you were ahead of this, but dude, this whole show, this whole season felt really unpredictable. Like, I did not know where they were going with this. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who was who. I mean, there was a lot of kind of twists and things going on behind the curtain that they really didn't tell you about until the last 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like this Church of the Collective, that was sort of a question the whole time. What the fuck are they, and what is their purpose? What's their agenda? Who's blowing people's heads up in these meetings?
Dude.
It's scary.
And when they went in there and they saw, dude, when they accidentally let everybody out, that girl,
Yeah.
where she just like
Crushing
imploded
people.
that person, dude, my mouth dropped. I was like, run, like fucking get out of there. Run.
Dude, but this show is so real in the sense that if there were superheroes, it would be fucking terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you hope that they would be good people and really ethical and have a good moral compass. But dude, if somebody like a Homelander existed and they decided one day, and I know Superman kind of talks about this, and that's the whole Superman versus Batman thing. That's kind of Batman's point. But it is true to think that if somebody like a Homelander existed who was pretty fucked up, mentally, psychologically, they weren't all there. Their agenda did not line up with the interest of, humankind or mankind. And they decided to turn on people. There is no real weapon out there that you have that makes them, you can stop them with.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine, dude, like being out on a walk and all of a sudden you just hear like they do this in the show, and it's so disconcerting when you just hear the sound of like Stormfront or somebody just going supersonic flying over you. Dude,
Yeah.
it's like hearing jets, like war jets, fly over all the time. You never know when it's going to happen. It's got to be the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, agreed. And I liked how they started playing on. They really opened up with the Compound V in this one. They showed them testing it on the adults in that kind of asylum. That was an interesting theory because I did start to think. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were gonna do a little bit more with that. I thought one of the main characters, I was kind of thinking maybe either Butcher or Huey.
Would,
I
like,
thought
take
one of them
some?
was going to end up injecting themselves. Yeah, I was waiting for them to do that, to end up killing like Stormfront or something like that. There were definitely I definitely have some negatives for this season. I mean, it's not all like glowing for me as far as the review goes. I really enjoyed it, but I was let down by a few different things. The big ones being what the boys were doing throughout this season, and then the bigger
nothing?
one being the season finale. I was actually really disappointed with the season finale. That last episode, they built up to it really well, and then I thought it was kind of a flop. I thought the
Yeah.
fight between Stormfront and Kimiko and Becca and I guess that was it. I thought that was kind of.
And Maeve.
Or sorry, not Becca. Maeve. Yeah, Maeve. Excuse me. I thought that was kind of boring. Like
Yeah,
you
I
don't really
agree.
see Stormfront do anything this season. You see her basically not use her
Just be a
powers
Nazi.
at all this whole season. She uses the light in the cell to break out, and I get it. I mean, at the end when they were fighting Stormfront, they were out in a big field, so there was no electricity for her to draw from. I get that. I just don't think they should have set it up that way. I thought they drew you to really hate Stormfront. Her character was insane with the twist of her being Liberty and then a Nazi and all those. That was a great twist, very well written.
I liked her in the beginning, and then they just flipped it on us, and I was like, oh my god, she's racist. Of course she is. Why?
Well, when she and Homelander were like fucking and basically hooking up, that was sketchy because it's like, dude, the two of them together are very scary, and
Yeah.
you know at that point who she is. You know who Stormfront is for the most part. Like, you know she's not good.
You find out that at the end of the first season that Homelander has a child.
Right.
And then you find out in this one that this child is the very first ever natural born superhero. So this is not somebody that was injected with Compound B. Compound B
Right.
is now genetic and has been passed down to this child. We saw Homelander and Stormfront when they were fucking, he was like zapping her and she was healing.
Right.
This kid wrecked her.
Dude, he went like Super Saiyan on her, dude. And he fucking melted her, man. That
So
was
what do you
fucked.
think the implications are of that? Like, do you think that this kid is more powerful than Homelander?
Yeah, I do. I think that we're supposed to assume that since he was born with the Compound V and not like had it injected upon him at infancy, I think that it's part of his genetic code from birth, like you were saying. And so I think that his body is able to manipulate it better or control it better or utilize it better. I think that he will be, if he's not already, the most powerful superhero that we've seen on the show so far. Speaking of Homelander, what were your thoughts on Homelander in season 2?
I mean, besides weirdly kinky, obviously he's an asshole. We don't like him. But then there are moments where he seems a little more human. Like we see pieces of his character, and this is what makes a great villain, is that you have to understand why they are the way they are. Nobody's bad
Right.
just to be bad.
Right.
But he was raised by nobody. He was raised by scientists. And the only affection he ever got was from Madeline. Was that her name?
I think it's Madeline, and then the guy, is it Vogelbaum?
Yeah.
The like male doctor that raised him
Right.
too.
Yeah, the one who got his head imploded. With Homelander, it's bizarre because you start to kind of see where he's coming from because he didn't have any human interaction. So you can understand where somebody who was raised to basically be a weapon could kind of get a god complex, which is ultimately what he has, is this god complex. And
Big time.
He literally says those words to his kid, we are gods.
Yep.
But then when he starts to get involved with Stormfront, you start to see moments of him. Like I personally, I think that it's showing that he was not 100% with her on the racism part. I don't think.
No, when she was talking to their son Ryan,
You could see it, right?
and
He
she
was uncomfortable.
Yeah, when she's like giving him that bullshit Nazi spiel, and she's trying to tell him about how some people hate us because of the color of our skin. You could tell that Homelander's like, what are you talking about?
Well, and when you think about it, he embodies America, and she embodies Nazism. So it's like
right.
he literally, everything in him is fighting her, and so, but he's also in love with her. So it's this bizarre. I don't know. I think they humanized him.
I don't know that he was really. I don't know. I don't know if I would say he was in love with her. That's kind of an interesting question because I think he just really enjoyed the affection. Like he's constantly seeking that affection. He sought that from what's her name that he ended up laser beaming in the first season.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. I going back to that question of, what did you think of Homelander? I was kind of disappointed in his character this season too. I didn't really get a whole lot from him. I mean, what did he really do this season, I guess, is my question as far as like being a villain. What did he really do villain-wise this season? I felt like he was much more of an actual bad guy in season 1, and I felt like Stormfront was really the one who was leading the charge for the evil on this one.
I think the show is kind of setting up that, like, while Homelander is powerful, he's not the only one. And I think that's kind of what they're getting at. The show, I think this season, like season 1 was like, this is Homelander, this is the Seven, Homelander's the bad guy. This season is setting up super terrorists or super villains or whichever one. And it's just showing how the world has gotten bigger now because Compound V is out. It'll just be kind of interesting to see where else it goes.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here in season 3. And obviously we saw Huey is now working with the head exploder chick, who's running for, was it mayor or senator or something?
Yeah, one of them.
One of them. So I'm not exactly sure. I was a little bit confused with her character, the lady who can explode people's heads. I was a little confused by her agenda, I should say. So she's against Vought, I think. But then again, she also like exploded everybody's heads when they were going to testify against Vought. So on the other hand, she's not really against Vought. I was a little bit confused with her agenda.
Politics. I think there's more to it than we understand.
Yeah, and the Church of the Collective confused me a little bit too. And I expected more from the main guy in the Church of Collective, who looked straight up like Satan to me. Like that dude looked like he was like the devil.
Yeah.
And I was just, with the Fresca and all that, there was just a lot of this season that was just sort of strange to me. But one thing about, and you may be right, that it was potentially that they just set up kind of a different structure of what the villain is. But I was just a little bit underwhelmed with Homelander in this one. I didn't really get a lot. I wasn't as scared of him in this season as I was in season 1.
Although it was interesting seeing him mow down like 500 people.
Dude, but I mean, it ended up being a flash or just like a fantasy, though. That's the thing. Like, it didn't actually happen. But you're right.
But you're seeing him kind of snap. Like,
uh-huh.
If he snaps, he could be bad.
Oh, dude, he would kill everybody.
Yeah.
He would kill everybody. And the truth is, man, like, I almost feel like they're setting it up where it's going to be Vought is one bad guy. These, like, corrupt politician people and this head exploder lady's another. And then I almost feel like Homelander is going to turn into, like, a rogue enemy. Like, I don't know that Homelander is going to remain like necessarily the main bad guy throughout the whole thing. I just think he's always going to be there as kind of this looming threat that they sort of have to deal with. But his focus is going to be Ryan in all of season 3. I don't think it's going to be Vought. I think his focus in season 1 was all about protecting Vaught's interest, and I think that drove him to do some really sketchy stuff. And I think in season 3 he's going to be all about like, where is my son? And conversely, he's going to be trying to get to the boys. But what exactly? Now I'm trying to remember. What exactly did they tell him to keep him from killing Butcher at the end? Oh, Maeve was gonna show him the video of the plane. So
here's what my issue with this season. It feels like you have these unstoppable heroes,
right?
Every single hero was kind of curbed with like every hero had their own agenda, and it feels like almost all of them was curbed because somebody was like, I have this video, and if you don't do what I say.
Yeah. This whole you're right. This whole season, everybody's issue was blackmail. Stormfront, they were going to blackmail and let it out that she was a Nazi, which they eventually did, and she, went crazy. Homelander, it was Maeve and all that stuff, talking about how she was gonna come out. And then with Butcher and Becca, it was like, well, they have Ryan, so they might kill Ryan. It was like everybody was basically had like something held hostage against them that like kept them from really being.
I guess that makes sense because if you have somebody who's basically bulletproof, how do you stop them? Well, you get to them in another way, but like I feel like there's more creative ways that you could get to it. I don't know. It felt a little bit like the writers kind of ran out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I definitely. There were some parts of this season that were a bit of a letdown, and there were also some parts that were just. I felt like the twists or the uncertainty went on for too long. I would have liked to have seen things kind of come to light, maybe on episode 7, so that by the time you get to episode 9, the season finale, things have kind of come to a head already and are like really blowing up. But the whole thing with Kimiko's brother was kind of weird.
Yeah, he was in there for like 2 episodes, and then he was just out.
Right, and then he was basically used as fuel to make Kimiko really want to kill really want to kill Stormfront. But, and again, another disappointment, like I said, is I was kind of disappointed with the boys on this one of what themselves. It felt like they were all just kind of scattered and doing their own thing.
They weren't a unit. And I think that's the point, like that they needed Butcher to kind of bring them together, or at least that's what they thought. But then in the end, it was really Huey. So before we wrap this up, I have to ask, what do you think is going to happen with Kimiko now that we know she basically is immortal?
Yeah, I mean, she can heal and everything.
I think that what's her name? Stormfront snapped her neck.
Right, and she can like basically just come back from that. I think she's going to end up being the person that really kills Black Noir, because apparently he's not actually dead. They were talking about it in, I think, the last episode. They were saying that he's like in stable condition or something. Like they were able to keep him alive. So I think she's going to actually kill Black Noir. Now, I don't know. My last question, I guess, would be, what do you think? Do you think Stormfront is actually dead? Do you think she's going to come back in like a Darth Vader kind of thing?
I don't know, man. I don't think that they would keep her alive if they weren't planning on having some way of bringing her back.
I think she is too, and I wouldn't be surprised if you pretty much don't see her all of season 3, and then like in the finale or the season before the end, maybe you all of a sudden you see her come back, and it's like a big twist kind of thing. I would not be surprised to see that. I'm looking forward to season 3. I enjoyed season 2. I think I enjoyed season 2 more than season 1, not by a ton. Yeah. For me personally, not by a ton. They were both good. I like them both pretty close to the same amount. But yeah, I don't know. It was really good. I love this show. I'm like super into this show. I can't wait for the season 3 when it eventually comes out. Did I like season 2? Absolutely. Was I blown away by season 2? I don't think so. I wouldn't say I was blown away, but I liked it, I would say, about as much as season 1, probably a little more. Didn't see as much powers and stuff this season as I would have liked, but overall the story's compelling. The characters are great. You love the boys. You love everybody. You even love Homelander. You love to hate him. You know what I mean? This, of course, was received very well, more so by the critics, actually, so far than the audience, and I think I kind of get it, but critic score on this, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, not surprised, but here's a number for you that you may not have expected. Audience score for The Boys Season 2 right now, 79%. 79%, which for such a popular show, I was very surprised to see that dip down below the 80s. Very surprised. So what'd you think? What'd you think of Season 2 as compared to that?
Season 2 is definitely better than Season 1.
Yeah.
Like, hands down, I don't think that's even a question. It's definitely better. They did everything and more that they had in Season 1. I can see the critics enjoying this because the show has a lot of action. It has phenomenal character development. Really, like that's what it has. Is really, really good character development. We see where each of these characters is coming from. But I think from the audience side, there's too much political intrigue and not enough of the action that people are kind of expecting from a superhero show. And I think that's why it's getting such a low score, because Season 1 felt a little more like the boys were these superhero hunters, and that's kind of what they set up the show to be, was these regular Joe, like average Joe kind of monster hunters, basically, that could take out even somebody with superpowers, and they were good at it. Specifically, Butcher.
You see him kill Transparent in episode 4 or 5 of the first season.
Yeah, exactly. Up. And we got none of that in this. In
or
this
translucent, right?
I know what you meant.
Yeah, translucent.
But in this one, it was really like they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were fighting amongst themselves. They were hanging out with drug dealers and stuff. It just didn't. We didn't get any of that from the boys, and it kind of took away from that, like, these guys are awesome feeling that we got. And instead, it gave us kind of more drama, basically. And I think that for a lot of people, what they liked about the show was the aspect of, well, what do you do with asshole superheroes? Well, you kill them. And I think that this season just didn't deliver that. Doesn't mean it's not good. I still really enjoyed the show. And personally, I think I'm right there with the audience, honestly. I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Still fun, but I think it could have done more and stayed truer to the show. I'm still going to watch season 3, and I still highly recommend the show to anybody who hasn't seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. No, I get it. I understand where those audience scores are coming from. I really do, because I'm basically gonna, reiterating what you said. This season felt like a lot of dialogue, and it felt like the boys were more so going around getting information than they were actually like trying to take out superheroes in this one. I would have liked to see more action. Just kind of rehashing what we've already stated. Seemed like a lot of dialogue in this one, and then unfortunately, I was really let down with the finale. So while it's still a fascinating show, while it's still really dark and fucked up, and you love to see it because it's so weird, like you're watching them watch pornos of all the superheroes.
That was
and
freaking, that was great.
Oh dude, and it's just, and that's why you love it though, you know what I mean, because it's so out
all
there,
you
and you're watching
porn.
Yeah, damn it, Huey. And there people are getting blown up and ripped apart and killed, and it's graphic and it's fucked up. But I do think this one got a little too political, and I think it got a little too dialogue heavy, and I think they lacked some action in this that people generally wanted. I would say I'd probably rank season 1 an 8.5, and I think I'm gonna rank this one an 8.5 also. I don't know. I liked it in some ways better, and I liked it, and in some ways I felt it was much worse. I felt like the season finale of season 1 left me like just so ready for a season 2, whereas this one, I mean, I'm ready for a season 3, but I was just a little disappointed. I felt like we never really saw the big grand battle that we needed to see in this one. It was more so dialogue heavy, political, but it was also the character development was there, and the story that they were kind of working were there, and some of the episodes were unbelievably good, like the one where they go to the asylum and the dude's giant dick is like wrapping around his neck and stuff. There's so much comedy and stuff in this, and it raised the bar even more with how dark it was and stuff. So in some ways, I liked season 2 more. In some ways, I thought season 2 was worse. So I think I'm gonna, for both season 1 and season 2, I think that The Boys gets an 8.5 for me. I have high expectations for season 3. I cannot wait for it. It's still a phenomenally entertaining show. Good for Amazon for putting this on. And that's it, man. So an 8 from the critic and an 8.5 from the common man himself. The Boys season 2. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought about it. We really appreciate it. If you're still with us, drop a thumbs up. Can't thank you enough. The channel is slowly but surely growing. Hop on over to our Instagram. We plug it every episode. Critic and the Common Man on Instagram. It's in our description below. We still have a giveaway going there. We're trying to reach 200 followers. We're slowly climbing. So all you got to do is go find our giveaway post. It's like halfway down the page. You got to comment. You got to follow us and then tag somebody in the post below that you think might like our podcast. It's as easy as that. Chris, you got anything else for today, man?
No, I'm gonna go shoot up Compound V.
Let's do it, man. I was trying to think of what my superpower would be, and I think, unfortunately, they already did it. That guy in the asylum already had it.
Yeah, with the massive dick.
I'd just be,
I don't need that. I'm already on that level, so I need
right.
Maybe like super hard nipples. I can like cut glass.
We'd be quite the pair.
Yeah.
We would be quite the duo. Yeah, Nipple Man and Wiener Boy. Yeah. You get to be. I let you be man.
I'm just eating hot dogs.
I'll be boy.
It's not the only reason they call
All right, everybody. That's it. Critic and the Common Man. We really appreciate it. Drop a thumbs up or a thumbs down below. Fair is fair. We're out of here. See you guys on the next one. Chris, peace.
Fade out.